Welcome back, everybody, to Popular Trigger. We've got a story about Walmart. Let's get right into it. Walmart is no longer going to sell a specific magazine. Which is it? Cosmopolitan. They will sell it elsewhere in the store, but they won't have it by checkout. Why is that? Well, according to Walmart, Walmart will continue to offer Cosmopolitan to customers that wish to purchase the magazine, but it will no longer be in the checkout aisles. While this was primarily a business decision, the concerns raised were heard. Continuing, Cosmo sends the same messages about female sexuality as Playboy, according to a group called the National Center for Sexual Exploitation. They say it places women's value primarily on their ability to sexually satisfy a man, and therefore plays into the same culture where men view and treat women as inanimate sex objects. Further, Cosmo targets young girls by placing former Disney stars on its covers, despite the enclosed sexually erotic articles which describe risky sexual acts like public, intoxicated, or anal sex in detail. You're welcome. Customers should not be forced to be exposed to this content when they are trying to check out at the store. Ooh. Thoughts? 5 words or less.
Cosmo, oh man.
Good one, Grace. Are you having a stroke?
What just happened?
Grace, I get it. I've been there.
People still buy Cosmo?
Soap Opera Digest, you're next.
Walmart will only sell magazines.
Oh.
You know?
Ooh.
I get it. I mean, is Cosmo good?
Yes, well, no.
You love it?
No, I don't love Cosmo. I love the show, So Me, Cosmo, it got canceled, it was really bad. But, boom, Daron, great question. Let's run the business on Cosmopolitan. So Cosmopolitan's Hearst publication, they own like everything, them and Condé Nast, right? So for the 3 million publications they put into circulation every month, only over 200,000 people actually buy the physical.
Right.
And but on their website, Cosmo.com, they get 29 million hits a month. So by removing the magazine that no one's really buying anyways from the checkout of Walmart that people don't pay attention to, is not gonna hurt Cosmo's brand or their business in any way, shape, or form. And furthermore, you can still go to the magazine section where they have all the other magazines from Hearst and buy Cosmo there.
So wait, I get what you're saying. I just don't know, like in a world where a bajillion people go through the checkout line at Walmart, it's only good for Cosmo's brand for people to just kind of see it. Like when you look at PR campaigns, they don't charge on like how many products are sold, they charge on how many impressions you get.
Right.
And the term impression is a hilarious PR term where it's like, people driving by may have seen it, so we're charging for a jillion impressions.
But the point I'm making though is this, is that the people that are offended by Cosmo, it's kind of like a ha-ha, we got you. Now we're gonna hurt your brand, but we're gonna hurt you in your pockets, right? But then most of their money is being made online. And two, no one's, when you're at Vaughn's or Pavilions or whatever store in LA or Gelson's, do you really stop and pay attention to, to what the magazines that are there? I don't.
I know that it's like, I'm sure I don't look at them every time, but I know there's probably like a really trashy tabloid and then like Us and In Touch.
Yeah,
right. And People.
And the ones the magazines that, at least in my experience, that you sort of like pick up and read through are usually the ones that have sort of an outrageous story or an exclusive from a celebrity. And Cosmo has never really promised that. It's more editorial, and they'll have like their sex tips. That's something that they're well known for. And then they have like their quizzes and hot guys and makeup tips and all that stuff. And that's not really like, if you want to buy that for a flight, you'll go get that for your flight. But you're not gonna like really like sift through it and like check out like, oh, 101 sex tips. Like I could really brush up for the 30 seconds before I have to go get my rice pudding.
Or the bedside astrologer, But but with that said though, because you have Elle, you have Allure, you have Harper's Bazaar, Marie Claire, right? Those are all, and also 17 Magazine, which is a Hearst publications, the baby sister of Cosmo. They too run articles on anal sex, and they had a whole controversy last summer over an article on anal sex.
Right, like Teen Vogue.
Right,
too,
yeah. So it's like you have to, that's the conversation that people are having now, and I get Cosmo is the benchmark. Cosmo and Vogue are the benchmarks of those types of magazines. But if the conversation that we're having is that across all walks of life, why are they so mad at Cosmo? I don't see anything pornographic
For me, I think that the problem is, and this is just because when I was young, my mom wouldn't let me read or look at Cosmo, obviously. But the problem is that they use people who, middle schoolers and high schoolers are watching on Disney Channel. They put Ariana Grande, they put Bella Thorne, they put all these young girls who a lot of girls look up to.
Sure.
And generally they're not, wearing a power suit. They're wearing next to nothing, right? And to me, that just sends the wrong message.
Okay.
I think that you should be proud of your sexuality and you should be interested and want to learn more about that. But I don't think that the magazine, to me, is doing that in the right way. I don't think that's going to hurt them necessarily, that they're not, right on the checkout stand. But I think the good thing about this for me is that it's bringing up the conversation of, okay, like who are they putting on their magazines? Okay, they're putting usually like white skinny girls who are really pretty. What kind of message is that sending out to people who are reading this? That to me is the good message that this is bringing up.
Right, and it's not pornographic for me.
Right.
And I always am like reticent to endorse any kind of censorship where it's like, we're getting rid of something because we don't agree with it. I think that there are improvements that Cosmo can make to be less like, here's how to get a guy to value you.
Yeah,
I think Cosmo likes pushing this boundary, though. I think that's why that's how they've differentiated themselves from other magazines. It's interesting that you were naming like Elle and Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, because I don't view Cosmo in that same category at all. Because I remember Cosmo was like the magazine on like school trips that would get passed around because it had these like it kind of went there with its like weird, bizarre sex tips. Like I remember this might have been what made me gay. I remember reading how you should hum your favorite tune while servicing your man's pee-pee because I was in like 8th grade and I remember, and they were like, because that like the sensation will drive him crazy, and I was like, I know for certain I do never want to do that.
And you
like,
heard it here first.
I knew I would truly, that's not for me.
And you're either born gay or you read Cosmo once and turn gay.
It's a fact.
That's the scientific fact.
Let's perpetuate that for sure. But I feel like Cosmo likes pushing that boundary. It likes sort of ruffling some feathers and like it has positioned itself as sort of like, this is the very hyperly sex positive magazine for girls to read. And maybe it hasn't done that always in a way that agrees with everybody, but it wants to be different, I think, than Elle and then 17 in many ways. And I know that we're seeing that sort of bleed over, and a lot of things have become more sex positive as we've all grown and acknowledged that like women have healthy sexual appetites as well. But I think this is a good story for Cosmo because it sort of lets people that maybe hadn't been checking in with Cosmo for a while, like, hey, we still have those sex stories. Like we're still doing that. You remember we were the OGs doing that. We're still doing it. We're making people real mad. Check out our latest article.
Right, and no one's buying the physical newspapers, magazines. No one's buying them anymore, anyways, because the way we consume that kind of content is on our phones now. So like I said, their website, just like people.com and e-online, the majority of the fans and their followers go online to get that content anyway. So Walmart, I mean, I love Walmart. I'm sorry, I grew up on Walmart.
I love Walmart.
Yeah, and
there's only one. Is it still open around here?
There's one in the Valley on Fallbrook. It's amazing. It's open until 2 a.m. It's great.
Yeah, but it was explicitly banned from Los Angeles. The only one was in Baldwin Hills and then Fallbrook and Simi Valley. Yeah. Because there were a lot of domestic initiatives from mom and pop stores to kind of consolidate, force Walmart out. No. There's still tons of Costco's.
Albuquerque, there's 9.
9 in Albuquerque?
Oh, they have Starbucks, McDonald's, and a nail shop in all of them.
Is there a European Walmart?
We have like Carrefour was what we had.
Or Douglas.
It just sounds so much better.
Right.
Like it's just on a different level.
Or like
that's all the time we have on the show. We'll see you browsing around in Carrefour. See you next week.